Great Britain and France declared a clear position. Ukraine must win the war that Russia is waging against it, the foreign ministers of the two states said.
We are both absolutely clear. Ukraine must win this war. If Ukraine loses, we all lose. The costs of failing to support Ukraine now will be far greater than the costs of repelling Putin. David Cameron and Stéphane Séjourné, foreign ministers of Great Britain and France, from a text in a joint column for The Telegraph.
But if Great Britain from the very beginning of the full-scale invasion took a tougher position towards the Kremlin, then in France they've begun to publicly declare this in recent months. Macron's statements about the possibility of sending military to Ukraine in the future caused a resonance among the leaders of European states.
This initiative by President Macron caused controversy in society. His words were taken out of context, including by the opposition, although in fact he only said that nothing could be ruled out. Benjamin Haddad, deputy of the French National Assembly, quoted by the European Pravda publication.
Despite some skepticism, Macron continued to present his idea and explain what is now public. This is not about sending NATO troops right now and directly to the line of contact. The idea is to publicly abandon the red line on the military presence of NATO states in Ukraine and create a situation of strategic uncertainty for Russia, but they can agree on the format and goals of the possible contingent later.
Macron sees that there is now a lack of leadership due to the discussions that are taking place in the United States about providing assistance to Ukraine. Apparently, he is also concerned about Trump's statements regarding his European allies, so he decided to choose a more active strategy in support of Ukraine. In the issue of opposition to the Russian Federation, he says that we must take a more serious position. There is already information that he has persuaded both Biden and Scholz to do this, to be tougher in principle. He also worries Russia with his statements.
Neither Putin himself nor his entourage were clearly prepared for the fact that Macron could take such a tough position towards the aggressor country. The tone of Kremlin propaganda immediately became openly aggressive. They began to call France an imperialist, warmongering, Nazi and Russophobic state.
One cannot escape the thought that Paris has hit a nerve in Russia, and taken together with the statement by President Macron that nothing should be ruled out in terms of military support to Ukraine, the Kremlin has now launched a more aggressive campaign to undermine the French authorities. EU Foreign Service Strategic Communications Task Force on the EU versus Disinfo website.
Macron expects provocations from Moscow. For example, during the Olympic Games in Paris, Agence France Presse has recently published excerpts from a domestic intelligence service memo. The document calls on the police not to ignore even weak signals about the alleged operations of Russian agents.
France has been attacked more than once by terrorists and various organizations, and what happened in Crocus in Russia shows that ISIS and other terrorist organizations would like to take advantage of the situation of the Olympics, of the massive number of people. In general, destabilizing the situation in France, discrediting Macron, is what's in the interests of Russia.
The Kremlin is betting that undermining security in one of the EU countries could split the opinion of the leaders of the European Union states regarding the provision of military assistance to Ukraine. Experts say rhetoric of Macron, his clear position concerning the assistance of Paris to Kiev, make France an obvious target of Moscow's hybrid attacks. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Yulia Granovska, UATV News.